NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, responsible for the mass deportation of students from Canada, is currently facing widespread protests as over 70,000 international student graduates find themselves at risk of deportation due to recent federal immigration policy changes. The affected students, many of whom arrived in Canada with the hope of building a new life, are now watching their dreams crumble as the expiry of their work permits looms. These changes, combined with restrictions on study permits, have left students, particularly from South Asia, in a precarious position. But a crucial question that has surfaced during these turbulent times is Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, responsible for these mass deportations? Slumdog investigates. Slumdog goes deep throat to get the information from untouchables. Slumdog gather the facts. Slumdog analyze information you can rely on. Slumdog lay low in the slums with common people, and Slumdog knows common people problems. Slumdog, please remember the name because this dog came from slums of untouchables. This dog proves that how hungry you are for the truth. Homeless, hungry, poor Slumdog. Untouchable Slumdog. Remember the name. To get all the updates, please like, share, click on bell icon, comment on the video, and subscribe the video. The role of federal policy changes in mass deportations. The Canadian government has introduced significant changes to its immigration policies, leading to a situation where thousands of international graduates are facing the possibility of deportation. The work permits issued under the Post-Graduation Work Permit Program, PGWP, are nearing expiration, and the pathways to permanent residency, PR, have become increasingly uncertain. While Jagmeet Singh and the New Democratic Party, NDP, have been vocal about advocating for fair immigration policies, the responsibility for these policy shifts lies primarily with the federal government, which is led by the Liberal Party under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Singh and the NDP have often championed the rights of workers, immigrants, and vulnerable populations, but they are not the architects of the current policy framework causing distress for international students. Government's stance on temporary workers and economic shifts. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, speaking at a recent Liberal cabinet retreat in Halifax, acknowledged the significant role foreign workers played during the COVID-19 pandemic to alleviate labor shortages. However, he also pointed out that the country's economic needs have shifted since then. As a result, the federal government has enacted policies aimed at limiting the influx of international students and temporary workers, causing many to face deportation when their work permits expire. Although Jagmeet Singh and the NDP may be influential voices in Canadian politics, they do not control immigration policy decisions. The Liberal government has been the one driving these changes, including stricter work permit regulations and fewer opportunities for PR via programs like the Canadian Experience Class, CEC, which has left thousands of students stranded without a clear path forward. Student protests and growing outrage across Canada. The frustration among international students has reached a boiling point. Protests have erupted across the country, with large gatherings taking place in provinces like Ontario, Manitoba, British Columbia, and Prince Edward Island. Advocacy groups like the Naujawan Support Network have taken a central role in these protests, demanding that the government extend work permits and provide transparent and consistent pathways to permanent residency. In Prince Edward Island, students have been protesting outside the Legislative Assembly for more than 3 months. Similarly, Brampton, which has one of the largest South Asian student populations, has seen frequent protests as international graduates push back against the narrative that they are to blame for housing shortages and job market challenges. These students argue that the real issue lies with broader policy failures, not with immigration itself. The human cost of policy shifts for many of these students, the stakes are high. Deep Singh, a former international student facing deportation, expressed his frustration. "I spent the most crucial 6 years of my life taking many risks to come to Canada. For the past 6 years, I studied, I worked, I paid taxes, I earned enough CRS, comprehensive ranking system, points, but the government has just taken advantage of us." Like many, Deep Singh believed that studying in Canada would be a pathway to a brighter future. After investing thousands of dollars in tuition and contributing to the Canadian economy through work and taxes, he is now facing the expiration of his work permit with no clear path to PR. Why Jagmeet Singh and the NDP are not to blame. It is essential to clarify that Jagmeet Singh is not the decision-maker behind Canada's immigration policies. While the NDP, under Singh's leadership, has consistently advocated for the rights of marginalized communities, including immigrants and students, they are not in a position of executive power at the federal level. Immigration policy decisions, particularly those affecting work permits and residency pathways, are made by the Liberal government in collaboration with other stakeholders. In fact, the NDP has often been critical of the government's immigration policies. Singh has advocated for more inclusive immigration reforms that protect the rights of temporary workers and international students. During the recent protests, several NDP members voiced support for extending work permits and ensuring fair treatment of international students. While Singh's influence in Canadian politics is significant, especially as the leader of a party that often holds sway in minority government situations, he cannot be directly linked to the mass deportations of students. These decisions are a product of federal policy changes that have taken place under the leadership of the Liberal Party. The broader implications for Canada's immigration system. The current crisis facing international students has broader implications for Canada's immigration system and its reputation on the world stage. For decades, Canada has been viewed as a welcoming destination for immigrants and international students, offering pathways to permanent residency and citizenship for those who contribute to the economy. However, the recent tightening of immigration policies risks undermining that reputation. Students, who have already invested heavily in their education and who have contributed significantly to the Canadian economy, are now feeling abandoned by a system that once promised them a better future. The fallout from these policy changes could have long-term consequences. Canada has long relied on the influx of international students to boost its education sector and fill labor market gaps. If students from India, China, and other countries start to see Canada as an unreliable destination, the country may face a sharp decline in international enrollments, which would affect both the educational and economic sectors. The need for immediate action. The protests and the growing discontent among international students have highlighted the need for immediate action from the federal government. Advocacy groups and students alike are calling for the following. 1. Extension of post-graduation work permits, PGWPs, allowing international graduates more time to secure employment and apply for permanent residency. 2. Clear and transparent pathways to permanent residency, ensuring that students who have contributed to the Canadian economy are given fair opportunities to obtain PR. 3. Reassessment of immigration policies, addressing the underlying issues that have led to the exploitation of international students and the uncertainty surrounding their futures. Without these changes, Canada risks losing not only a critical segment of its skilled workforce but also the trust of future international students.